Hello, welcome back. I am coming to you all with a different kind of haul today. I spent a lot of this month listening to music, as I do every month, and something that I have been thinking a lot about is physical media that I own. I feel like I saw a post somewhere that was like, if Spotify or whatever streaming service you use were to like go down tomorrow, you would lose essentially like access to your music library, which I think holds true in some ways. Like I've been using Spotify for the last, let's say, 12 years. But if I really wanted to, I could, unearth my parents' old computer and open up iTunes, and there would be a relatively robust library of music, of, things that I own. But it just had me thinking about how I don't own essentially like any of the music that I've spent much of my adult life listening to. And so I wanted to take steps to change that in a financially sustainable way. And so I am kind of always on the hunt. One of my favorite things to do, especially when I'm visiting a new place or a new city, is seeking out, record stores or like used CD stores, because you never know what they're gonna have. And a large majority of the music that I listened to was popular when CDs were in their prime, and so I'm always optimistic. And so I had a very successful month of collecting physical media in the form of primarily CDs and a couple records. I'm really trying to, I use less scrutiny with CDs because typically they're a lot cheaper than records and a lot more readily accessible. And I will say I take more risks when it comes to CDs. Like I might buy something that I maybe only know one track off of, but like, and want to find out about the rest of the album. Whereas with records, I'm really trying to only purchase records that I like really love, cover to cover. And so, yeah, so September was a month. I primarily got most of these things on my most recent trip to Michigan, which I like literally just got back from today. But a couple of CDs I got at a show that I went to earlier this month. And so I thought I would just share my very specific taste in music, if anyone finds that interesting, which, there's something for everyone, and this might not be for anyone, but I'm just having fun with it. So I think what I'll do is run through everything I got, and I have definitively listened to everything here except for one of the records, which is in direct conflict with what I just said about purchasing records that I know and love. But I will get to that. And so I think I will just go. There's gonna be no rhyme or reason. I'm just gonna go with what's on top. So, the first record store, okay, let's think about this. It does not matter the order in which I present these. I was thinking I would present them by place they were, by location in which they were acquired. So most simply, I went to go see Pianos Become the Teeth at their 10-year anniversary tour for Keep You in Baltimore. It was incredible, and I love Keep You, and that is a CD that I own and actually got at their show last year. But I wanted to get the CDs for the two albums that came after Keep You. So there's Wait for Love and there's Drift. And I spent a lot of this road trip listening to both of these albums through and through. Because I'm familiar with, I would say I was more familiar with Wait for Love, less familiar with Drift. Like I had listened to the first 4 tracks on Wait for Love like many times. And like I don't love Bay of Dreams, which is the 5th track, and so I feel like I always moved on before I got to the latter half of the album. But I really spent a lot of this road trip listening to the whole CD and have really come around to the entire album and really love it. And so if I were to give this a rating, I was thinking I would give it a rating based on number of tracks that I like off of the total tracks. So there's 10 tracks and I like 9 of them. So I would give this a holistic 9 out of 10. Drift is up next, which came out in 2022, I believe. And going into this, I only knew a couple of tracks that I enjoyed also and were kind of a change of pace. But now, after also having listened, I probably listened to these between 8 and 10 times, at least, over the course of this road trip. And I think I truly deeply love the whole album. 10 out of 10? Is that crazy? Maybe like a 9.5 out of 10, because I don't like love Buckley. I like it, I don't love it. So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. So that was Pianos Become the Teeth. Then I went to Vertigo Music in Grand Rapids. So I went to Michigan to go see La Dispute's 10-year anniversary tour for Rooms of the House. Also incredible. If you're into that kind of thing, which I know many people are not. And so I went to Vertigo Music because it was a highly recommended establishment and got a few things from there. I got 2 CDs and 2 records, which is what I will share now. I really try not to buy CDs new, but I recognize that especially with music that has come out beyond, like, let's say after 2015, it is very hard to find used versions of those CDs. So I've accepted that, especially with some of the music that I've been really into in the last 5 to 10 years, like if I see a new CD at the store and it is an okay price, then I will likely go for it. And so at Vertigo, I got La Dispute's Panorama, which is my personal favorite La Dispute album. And I've just had a lot of trouble finding La Dispute CDs, like in every used record store I've been to. And so I saw it and was like, I guess I'll just get it, because I did want to listen to it in the car. And though this is my favorite La Dispute album, it also has some of my least favorite songs on it. And so giving it on the same rating scale, I would give it it has also 10 tracks. I would give it an 8 out of 10. But huge fan. Huge fan, and would highly recommend. And I think it is much easier listening than Wildlife. And maybe that's a hot take, but whatever. I do not like Wildlife, and I will die on that hill. The other CD that I got is Joyce Manor's Cody, which I also love. It is my favorite Joyce Manor album. And I saw it and I was like, why not? It'll be fun to have in the car. I would give this, it has 10 tracks. I would give it probably also like an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. It's, I think, a lot of fun and very easy, like I think easy to get into and easy to listen to. So would recommend. I mean, obviously I would recommend, I'm not gonna say I would recommend all of these. Okay, the 2 records I got are by the same band. They're both by the Dodos, who I love tremendously. I was extremely excited, particularly about this album, Individ, which is definitively my favorite Dodos album. Is that the truth? I guess it is. I'm saying it out loud, but it need not be. I feel like I cycle between Individ and No Color and Visitor and Time to Die. So I don't know. I'm a big Dodos fan through and through. And so super, 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 super excited to have found this for the excellent price of $10 at Vertigo Music. We'll be giving this a spin soon. And then I also found Certainty Waves, which is the album that came after Individ, which I have only listened to a few tracks off of. So this is what I was saying, and that I typically buy records that I know and love. But this one I am not that familiar with, but I do love the Dodos, and so I suspect that I will like this, at the very least. And the Dodos are so special and unique in their sound, and I think listening to them on vinyl is a special experience, and so I did not have any hesitations about buying this, especially not for $8. So that is everything I got at Vertigo Music. And then the last place I stopped was a used CD, DVD, video game place in Holland, Michigan, called CD Exchange. And they had a very excellent selection of used CDs. Some of these I took a gamble on, for better or for worse. So the first thing that caught my eye was mewithoutYou's Brother Sister. I gave this one full spin in the car on my drive back, and the verdict is that I liked it. I didn't love it. So I would perhaps give it, I mean, if I'm going off of rating it out of the number of songs that are on here, I honestly, I feel like it all meshed together, and the only song that I feel like I truly love on the album is In a Sweater Poorly Knit, because that is what I think not what introduced me to mewithoutYou, because, is the album called Pale Horses? I'm not sure, but whatever their release was, I think in like 2015 or 2016, I think it was called Pale Horses. I really love that album. And then obviously came across In a Sweater Poorly Knit, so I thought I would give this album a try. I guess the tricky thing with this album and listening to it in the car is like not knowing where one song ends and where one begins. And so I'd give it, all in all, without discernibly knowing what any of the songs sounds like, probably like a 6 out of 10. Like, it wasn't my favorite, but I didn't dislike it and want to turn it off. There are 13 tracks on it, so let's give it a 7 out of 13. And then this was actually the first thing that caught my eye. It's The Academy is Santi, which is a record that I love, and was very exciting to find it. I do also love, what is it called? Fast Times at Ridgemont High, I think. Which was kind of like, I don't want to say mainstream, but kind of mainstream album. Like, they were showing the music videos for About a Girl on Nickelodeon, so it was like, it reached that level of fame. And that is an album that I love through and through and would love to find the CD for one day. This one, also excellent. Also the album before this one, Almost, okay, is it called Almost Here, Almost There? One or the other. I know there's a song on the album called Almost Here, but I do not know if that's what the record is called. Also really enjoy that one. I would give this one probably, okay, looking at the track list, I'd probably give this like a 7 out of 11. My favorite track, I think I wanted to say what my favorite track was on all of these albums, but Alas, didn't think that through. Anyway, I'll start with this one. My favorite track on this album is Seed. Next, also, I part of me feels sad that it is so easy for me to find dodos CDs and media in used record stores, because it makes me think that people have listened to them and then decided to let them go, but I'm just like, these are truly wonderful. And so Visitor, which was my introduction to the dodos, love this album. I would give this, how many tracks are on here? 5, 10, 14. I'd give this a 13 out of 14. My favorite track on this album is either Winter or The Season. Close tie. Next up, I got AFI Sing the Sorrow. I am a diehard fan of December Underground. I'm not sure what that says about me, but I really wanted to give Sing the Sorrow a full good listen, because I do love, of course, like the singles off of this, Silver and Cold and Girls Not Grey. I hate to say, but I think that it was, at the end of the day, not entirely for me. Like, I think if I were to give it a rating, perhaps a 7 out of 14. Like, I think I liked listening to it, but none of the songs outside of the singles really stuck out to me, which I feel a little bit sad about. But I think maybe it'll grow on me the more I listen to it, because I definitely didn't dislike it, but it didn't hit as hard as a first impression. So I would go with a 7 out of 14 for right now, and would hope that it rises up in the ranks. Okay, and then the last big gamble, and I hate that I'm ending this video on this CD, although maybe I'll go back through and give all my favorite songs. It is Oohs and Aahs by Say Hi, which was definitely going out on a limb. So one of the tracks on this album, Marine, came up on my Spotify weekly, my Discover Weekly, like, I don't know, 8 years ago, and I really enjoyed the track. And so I was like, oh, this is kind of fun to see this in a store. And so I thought, for $3, why not? And I am displeased to say that the rest of this album sucks mega ass, and I do not recommend. I think maybe the first track stuck out to me and was like, okay, I could get into this, but then it just went downhill from there, and I was just like waiting for it to be over. So we'll give this a 2 out of 10. Do not recommend. But yeah, that was my music haul. Let's go through favorite tracks. So I did that for AFI, I did that for Visitor, I did that for The Academy Is. For Brother Sister, Me Without You, evidently In a Sweater Poorly Knit. That's the truth. For Certainty Waves, from the songs that I remember, I do believe the song that I enjoy on this the most is If, Big If. My favorite track on Individ is, it's hard. I think it's either, okay, no, it's definitively The Tide, but a close second is Goodbyes and Endings. On Cody by Joyce Manor, favorite track. Okay, I feel like when I was first listening to this album, my favorite track was Angel in the Snow. But I think the more I've listened to it, it is the last track. The song is a mess, but so am I. Panorama, easily Fulton Street 1. Fulton Street 1 and 2 as a combo though. And also Footsteps at the Pond. Excellent. This is just me giving my favorite tracks off the record now and not even narrowing it down to one. In Drift, favorite track is, I think probably, the issue with listening to these in the car is that I don't associate a song with a track title. So I definitely really like Genevieve. I think I like Easy is my favorite song. It's either Easy or The Days, but I think it's Easy. It might be The Days. I don't know. And then Wait for Love. Favorite song is Dry Spells. Okay, that is all. That was a long, chaotic video, but thank you for watching. I hope that you consider any of these albums except for Say Hi. Although if you want to find out about Say Hi, I won't stop you. At the very least, Marine is a good track. But I would recommend all of these things, and I hope you enjoy. All right, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.